You guys asked me for a video on making good political characters. Well, here it is. I think there is a glaring problem with most characters that are specifically made for playing a political role in a story. Oh, that was a mouthful. Instead of a person that has to make impossible choices, more often than not, they are treated like chess pieces. Let me show you. If you write a character simply to serve the plot, you might be doing something wrong. You are. This is even more true when a character is a political actor. When your political actors always want the same thing as the institution they represent, they are a plot tool. And that's boring. Your characters should be walking conflict engines. They have a multi-layered role to play. They are first and foremost a person with their private wants and goals. And then, and only then, they are part of an institution. And those institutions have wants and goals of their own. The character's own goals and wants conflict with the others. It is in those moments where these characters start to shine, right? Using my Fractal Politics Framework, we can easily make characters that make your world feel more alive. Here's what most world builders do. They create a character and assign them a role. The loyal general, or the scheming merchant, or the corrupt bishop. And that's it. The character becomes a representative of the institution. The general wants what the military wants, and the merchant wants profit, because that's what merchants do, right? But real people don't work like that. Inside every power center, the military, nobility, the church, the merchants, there are individuals with their own agenda. The general isn't just the military, he's a man who wants glory, or he has a rivalry with another general, or he secretly thinks the king is weak. Maybe he promised his daughter to a noble house to secure an alliance. This general has his own conflict loop running inside the larger military power center, and that is what makes him compelling. So, here's how I build political characters now. 4 layers. Layer 1 is the institutional goals. What does their power center want? If they're a general, the military probably wants resources, glory, expansion. And if they're a merchant, the guild wants trade routes and profit. This is the surface layer. It is what everyone sees. This layer creates the character's public face, the role they're expected to play. Then you have personal ambitions, number 2. What does this specific character want for themselves? Not for their institution, for them. The general doesn't just want military victory, maybe he wants to be remembered as the greatest commander in history. Or he wants to rise into politics and become the king's right hand. And this is where the characters start to feel real, because now their personal wants might conflict with the institutional role. And this layer is where the character stops being the chess piece. Then we have layer 3. This is the layer most people simply skip. And I think it's a really important layer for consistency. This isn't just about personality, it's about the mechanics of their mind. How does this character process information? What is their default operating system? Think of it as a character's unique wiring. Do they see the big picture, or are they obsessed with tiny details? Or is their default setting protection, risk averse, or growth, risk seeking? Do they process through logic, emotion, or social intuition? Do they see connections everywhere? Or do they focus on what's directly in front of them? This layer determines how they pursue their goals and what mistakes they will most likely make along the way. And layer 4, the hidden contradiction. This is the deepest layer. What does this character want what they cannot admit, even to themselves? Maybe the loyal general secretly believes the kingdom is doomed and is positioning himself to survive the collapse. Maybe the pious bishop doesn't actually believe in the gods. These contradictions create internal tension. And the internal tension is a ticking time bomb. It's waiting to go off. The thing that will eventually force them to make an impossible choice. By the way, if you want to actually use this framework instead of just nodding along, I've put together a simple printable version with prompts for each of these 4 layers. It's available for free on my website. The link is in the description. The next important topic in writing a good political character, in my opinion, is the cognitive variable. We spoke about the wiring in layer 3. This wiring creates natural political friction. When you change a character's internal filter, you might change the fate of empires. It turns cognitive architecture from background detail into a political variable. For example, you have the detail-obsessed spy master. She has what I call a granular processing filter. She cannot zoom out to see the big picture. She's always focused on the details. This makes her incredibly good at catching small inconsistencies in reports, or spotting forged documents, or noticing when someone's story doesn't add up, but she misses the larger strategic patterns. Or maybe the emotionally driven king. This king processes decisions through emotional resonance first. He doesn't analyze situations logically, he feels them. This made him a beloved leader in peacetime, because he genuinely connects with his people's suffering. But in war, he makes decisions based on how they feel in the moment, rather than a long-term strategy. Hey buddy. Hey buddy. I have a friend. Hopper is helping me doing this video today. But now let's hear how all 4 layers interact. When a character's personal ambitions clash with the institutional role, you get friction. When their cognitive architecture complicates both of those, you get compelling drama. Your character is a high-ranking diplomat. The church wants religious influence in the foreign kingdom, right? That's the institutional goal. Then you have the personal. She wants to prove she's the best negotiator in the realm. Why, buddy? That is because people have always underestimated her. Layer 3, how she thinks. She processes the world through pure logic and system. She's brilliant at reading contracts and spotting legal loopholes. But she struggles with the performative social rituals of diplomacy. The flattery, the subtle insults, the unspoken power games. Because she views them as inefficient noise, rather than meaningful communications. Then you have layer 4, the hidden contradiction. She secretly believes the church's expansion is morally wrong, but she cannot admit it because her entire identity is built on serving the church. Now, let's add a crisis. The foreign king is offended because she dismissed his crucial social ritual as wasteful theater. The treaty is falling apart. Does she force herself to engage in what she sees as meaningless performance to save the deal? Does she stand her ground and risk a war? Does she find a creative third option that reframes the negotiation in purely logical terms? Simply because of the depth of the 4 layers, you get so much more depth. Right, Hopper? Yeah. Now, let's zoom out slightly. Political characters don't exist in isolation. They are constantly forming alliances, making promises, breaking them. And here's the key. Alliances should be fragile and self-serving. 2 nobles might ally against the king, but they also hate each other. A general might promise loyalty to the merchant guild in exchange for funding, but he's also taking money from their rival. Cognitive architecture adds another layer of complexity. Remember the detail-obsessed spy master? She wants to trust her ally, but her processing style simply won't let her. She keeps finding tiny inconsistencies in their behavior, things that are probably innocent, but could be suspicious. So she investigates, finds something that looks bad out of context, and betrays her preemptively. She created an enemy out of someone who was actually loyal. This is not just a plot twist. Don't think of it as a plot twist. They are natural consequences of how these characters think. It's a great tool for you to exploit in building your stories. I have 4 more quick tips to make your political characters feel like real people and not plot devices. Quickfire. Give them relationships outside of politics. The general isn't just a military leader, he's a father, a husband, a friend, maybe he's having an affair. These relationships make him human. Tip 2. Make their cognitive architecture specific. Don't just say this character thinks differently. Ask, how do they process information? Do they zoom in on details, zoom out to patterns? Do they make decisions through logic, emotion, or social intuition? The more specific you are, easier it is to write these characters, and the more real they will feel. Tip number 3. Show strengths and limitations. Every cognitive style has trade-offs. The detail-focused investigator catches every small lie, but he misses the big picture. The emotionally driven leader who inspires loyalty makes impulsive decisions. Complexity is what makes these characters compelling. And tip number 4, this is the best one, let them fail. The best political characters don't always win. They make mistakes, they misjudge situations. They trust the wrong people, and those failures force them to adapt, to change, to make harder choices. Failure is what makes characters grow. Let's put it all together. So instead of building from scratch, let's take a boring chess piece character and transform them using the framework, right? Here is Lord Treasurer Valen. He's the king's money guy. He wants money, tax revenue, that's it. Let's add the layers. The treasury wants stable revenue and economic growth. Then there is Valen's own wants. Valen wants to be remembered as an architect of the new economic system, one that breaks the nobility's stranglehold on land wealth. He's a commoner who rose through merit, and he wants to prove the old system is obsolete. Valen is a systems optimizer. Layer 3. He sees the economy as a machine with inputs and outputs. He's brilliant at finding inefficiencies and designing elegant solutions, but he's blind to human suffering when it's statistically acceptable. Then layer 4. Valen secretly despises the king. He thinks the monarch is an outdated position, but he needs the king's authority to implement his reforms, so he's trapped serving someone he views as obsolete. You see the difference already? Same job title, but a completely different character. You could obviously make it even deeper if you want to, but simply having these 4 layers gives you so much opportunity to expand on your stories. I really wonder, and please tell me in the comments, which one of the 4 layers is weakest in your political characters, and what are you going to change about them? Also, if you want more deep dives like this, hit like, subscribe, and again, I have a printable version of this framework available for free on my website. The link is in the description. See you in the next video.